Welcome to Pop Cult, where we talk reality TV, celebrity chaos, and pop culture throwbacks.
Good morning, everyone, and it truly is the morning. Avery has just woken up today.
Yes. Begrudgingly.
And welcome back to Pop Cult. We're your hosts. My name is Julia.
And I'm Avery.
And we post 2 episodes every week. Tuesdays are for a reality digest, where we go over last week's pop culture chaos. And Thursdays are for our fame files, where we go over past pop culture events that are still relevant today, which is what we're doing today, as soon as Avery wakes up.
Yes, I had to wake up early this morning. We never record in the morning. We always record after work or at night on like a Sunday. But we're trying to get some episodes recorded ahead because Julia and I have a couple big months coming up.
Yep.
So I had to wake up I actually got out of bed at like 8:50, and then we were...
No, how tragic.
I know, but like usually on the weekends I sleep until like 10 or 11 because I don't go to bed till super late because I love to watch TV.
Fair.
And oftentimes on like a Friday or Saturday night I'll find like a limited series on Netflix and watch the entire thing.
Good
That's
for
why I go
you.
to bed so late.
Good for you.
But last night I was actually watching the new Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season.
I watched episodes 1 to 4, and then I was like, I have to go to bed.
Okay, I watched 1 through 5, and I don't know if you noticed this, but Taylor Frankie Paul was wearing a Seven Brew shirt.
I did in the first episode. I was dying. I was like, oh my gosh.
And I need you to get me a Seven Brew shirt.
You know, I have one.
Now. Do you really?
Yeah.
Does it look like hers?
No, it's not cute like that. I want one like that. Mine is like ugly compared to that.
We need to find Seven Brew shirts.
So like when Seven Brews first open, they do a swag day. And so that's how I have a shirt.
Wait, I love that.
But other than that, I don't know how to get one. Like, because sometimes the workers will have like the cutest Seven Brew themed shirt. And I was like, can I buy that off of your body?
I bet you we could find them on their website. I'll look today. Let's get into it. We are talking today about the Dance Moms fraud, aka Abby Lee Miller and her bankruptcy fraud case. Do you know anything about this?
No, so I mean, yes and no. I know she's like not a good person, but I did not watch Dance Moms. Hot take.
Oh my god, it's so good.
So like I know who Maddie is,
Mm-hmm.
that one girl from Sia's music video.
Yeah, of course.
I know who she is. I know there's a girl who was in the original Dance Moms who is now a person at my college, and so people will see her often. I don't know which one.
I don't either.
But people have like taken pictures with her. Or maybe she just was dating someone who was on the baseball team. I don't know. It was some situation, and she was there. Somebody would know. If any of my college friends are listening, tell me the details because I forgot.
Let's see. It doesn't say. So yeah, any of Julia's friends follow up with us and let us know.
Help me.
But yeah, I can only imagine. Like, I'm sure that you know the premise behind Dance Moms and the
Will
fact
this explain the wheelchair?
Okay. Yeah, we will. Yes, I'll talk about that. I can only imagine that for the girls and moms from the Dance Moms cast, like your arch nemesis, the teacher who like verbally abused you for years, having to go to prison, I'm sure that can only feel like the best karma that someone could ever get. Again, not that it's like I don't know if I feel bad for her, to be honest. We can talk about that at the end, but I just always wonder what they think because like I just feel like Abby was always on such a high horse with them, and she had so much power over them, so I could only imagine seeing like that power being stripped away from her is like vindicating to an extent. Yeah. Let's get into it, shall we? In October 2015, reality star and dance instructor Abby Lee Miller was charged with hiding $775,000 in income from the TV network Lifetime from her time on Dance Moms and any additional spin-off projects.
Hiding?
Yes, she was hiding the income from that network and those shows.
Oh, so she didn't have to pay taxes on it?
Yes, I think that was part of it. Abby was indicted by a grand jury in Pittsburgh for 20 counts of bankruptcy fraud, concealment of bankruptcy assets, and false bankruptcy declarations. The claims were that she hid income from 2012 and 2013 from the money that she made via TV appearances, dance lessons, and merch sales. At the time in which she was indicted, she was 50 years old. a little bit about Abby to add some context here. She is a dance teacher and choreographer from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who started teaching dance with her mom when she was just a teenager. And in 2011, she became the star of the show Dance Moms on Lifetime, which is a reality show about her dance company, Abby Lee Dance Company, and specifically a team of young girls and their moms, and sort of like the interpersonal relationships between the moms, between Abby and the moms, between the girls. But it is, I think, important to note that like these were like little girls on the show.
Oh
These
yeah,
were
they were
not
really tiny.
even teenagers. Like one of them was, I think, as little as like 5 or 6 years old when this show first started. And one of the things that she was known for was being extremely mean and harsh towards her team and just getting in horrific arguments with their mothers. Like one time, she literally got into a physical altercation with one of the moms. The mom kind of like started the physical aspect of it, but I do think that Abby ended up like taking her to court. I'm not sure what netted out there, but she was essentially the villain of the show, but also, I mean, the star alongside, I would say, Maddie Ziegler, as you mentioned. So in 2010, she actually filed for bankruptcy because she claimed that she was drowning in debt, primarily from like property and income taxes. I think it was because she had like multiple either studios or she had like a lot of real estate that she owned. So just to note, she filed for bankruptcy before the show even started. When she filed, it was specifically Chapter 11, which means that she's filing to restructure her debts, in her case for her Pittsburgh dance studio. So I'm not really sure what that means. When she filed, she had racked up $400,000 in real estate taxes. And basically, after this, she then hid her income that she brought in from 2012 to 2013. I'm assuming because she made a buttload of money from this TV show. But I'm pretty sure that when you file for bankruptcy, like some of that debt, if not all of it, is like void. So she basically would be like pocketing the money that she made on the show and then still, you know, she's in bankruptcy. If they don't know that she has that money, then she doesn't have to use that money to, I guess,
to pay off.
Yeah, get herself
anything.
out of bankruptcy. But then she exited the bankruptcy in 2013. So essentially, she had created bank accounts where she would put the money that she wanted to hide. And then when it came time for her to report her income, she would just either not do it or she would report less than the actual amount.
Oh, okay. Well, that's sketchy.
Investigators claim that they found emails from Abby to some sort of like joint venture partners in 2013 with the email subject being, quote, "Let's make money and keep me out of jail," telling them to avoid raising any.
Okay.
It's giving the college admission scandal.
It really is.
These people are just sending emails, outrightly exposing themselves. It's crazy. Anyway, basically she was telling them to like avoid raising any red flags and to not put the cash in the bank. So essentially she was hiding her income from the IRS, but also the courts as she was going through the process of the bankruptcy. Another way she committed fraud is by having the entertainment company that was paying her for Dance Moms send the payment to her mother's bank account instead of hers.
How can you even do that? Don't you have to have like, doesn't all the names have to match?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, you would think, but I totally could see her just being like, "Oh, just send it to my mom. Like, I'm dealing with some bankruptcy stuff right now or whatever." And like if I
Okay.
were, I don't know, you would think that like anyone who handled payroll would
be like,
raise some red
no.
flags. But I don't really know how all that works in entertainment. So, the $775,000 is the amount that she hid or concealed from the court. And then there was an international monetary transaction charge that was also part of this because she like basically smuggled $10,000 at least of Australian money back into the US in 2014. And allegedly, she and her, I don't know why she was in Australia. I think it might have been for some sort of like dance show situation. But allegedly, she and her employees snuck it in their suitcases in Ziploc bags. And total altogether, they divided up 120,000 Australian dollars.
Oh,
And
okay.
brought it back into the US. I don't even know how you would do that and then I guess technically like wash the cash. Like I don't even how do you even figure out how
what
that
does
works?
that word even mean?
That's what
Wash the cash.
that's what like money launderers do. They like it's like they wash it. That's like what they call it, but I don't really know.
Have you seen Schitt's Creek? This is like you trying to tell me to fold the cheese in. That's
no,
crazy.
I've not seen that. But did you ever watch the show Good Girls? Oh my god, such a good show on Netflix. You have to watch it. It's about like a group of suburban moms who are in financial trouble, so they decide to rob a grocery store. But then when they go to rob the grocery store, they find like millions and millions of dollars in cash.
Oh, that someone else was like hiding?
Yeah, they take it and then they realize that they've taken it from a gang.
That's funny.
And it's actually such a good show. The last like season isn't that good, but it's so good. It's like they basically like one of the moms like basically becomes like the ringleader of this operation. Like it's really a good show.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, that they like washed the cash. So I don't really know what she was planning to do here, but either way she got caught. When she filed bankruptcy, she claimed that she was only bringing in just under $9,000 a month, which if you didn't have like a dance studio, then that wouldn't be like a small amount of money. But if you think about, you know, a mortgage, rent on your studio, and obviously other taxes and other like expenses, that's not very much.
No, it's not.
But she's claiming she's bringing in just under $9,000 a month when she filed. But then once Dance Mom started, she was allegedly earning around $25,000 per episode.
Jesus.
So, yeah, that's just doesn't really add up. I believe that her legal battle was actually a storyline on season 6 of Dance Moms. I didn't watch that season. I kind of stopped watching after all the OGs left. But she, like I said, she was well known for treating her students and their parents horribly and basically being verbally abusive. So it was not surprising that her lack of moral compass did not stop there. Her first public appearance after her indictment was at the 2016 People's Choice Awards, where her star student, Maddie Ziegler, was up for an award, and they were actually photographed together on the red carpet. So I wonder what she was telling her students at the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Apparently, at least one, if not the only reason that she was caught is because the bankruptcy judge was flipping through channels one day and came across her on TV. And he was like, there's no way that this is the same person who said that they don't have any income and is filing for bankruptcy.
Well, like, also don't file for bankruptcy when you're a public figure.
Right. And if you...
Or don't falsely file for bankruptcy, I should say.
That's the thing. Like, if you filed for bankruptcy and you actually needed it in 2010 before the show got picked up, that's one thing. But then you need to tell somebody.
But you're now making money.
Right.
Like, you can't just get out of that.
But obviously, like, that was not the goal. Like, the goal was that she didn't want to pay the government.
Yeah, she did not want to pay.
Goals, honestly, but... Cause same, but I would never do that for the record, mostly because I don't know how. Anyway,
yeah.
So she has claimed that the only reason that she was charged was because of a witch hunt at the hands of this judge, whose wife apparently was a Dance Mom super fan. I don't believe that. Abby is a delusional person. The delusions that she spins up in her mind are insane.
Well, someone would have found it anyway. Like, someone would have told the judge, like, that you're not special.
Right. And also, she was committing a crime. It's not a witch hunt when you're actually...
It's not a witch hunt when you're actually doing... Like, they're not making up evidence.
Right. She's so stupid.
The evidence is right there.
I feel like that was always Abby's whole shtick on the show, was, like, she's genuinely not a smart person, but she would always try and, like, act like she was the smartest person in the room and the most clever person in the room. And so it's just funny to, like, watch her go up against a court of law.
Like, we didn't come up with that you filed for bankruptcy, and we didn't come up with that you're gonna get paid for being on TV because that's what happens.
Right. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, someone on the crew even maybe, like, outed her.
Well, good.
Yeah. I'm sure she was terrible to them, too. She's a bad person.
Yeah, I'm sure she was horrible.
Yeah. So, all in all, the total amount that she hid from her, like, TV stint was around $228,000, but then where the 775 comes into play is there was 550,000 more from, like, appearances, lessons, and all the things that kind of, like, went on with the show coming out. So that's how we get to that total number. If she were to be convicted, she was facing 5 years in prison at least and a $250,000 minimum fine for each of the 20 counts that she was being indicted for.
Lord.
Which totaled around $5 million.
Ow.
2 weeks after the original indictment, she had an arraignment in Pittsburgh where she had to pay a bond of $100,000 and she pleaded not guilty. Okay, so now we're going to get into like the fact that like the reason I don't believe that this is a witch hunt is because the court gave her so many allowances. So basically when somebody's indicted, they receive a deadline from the judge to respond with their plea of guilty or not guilty. And for some reason, Abby was given 6 extensions.
Okay. That feels unfair.
Right. It's totally unfair. Because her team was saying that they needed more time to review the evidence and decide on the plea, but the real reason was that she was filming Dance Moms in LA at the time. So she was continually and repeatedly granted extensions for work commitments and was even able to travel domestically and internationally.
That seems not legal, but okay.
The only caveat was that she had to tell the feds if she was going to be going international.
Okay.
After the 5th extension, the judge made a statement which read, quote, "The court is not inclined to grant any further extensions."
Well, thank God we finally figured that out.
It's crazy. And it doesn't even stop there because we're going to get into like how delayed her sentencing was and everything. At one point, I think this was like maybe one of the first statements that she released after everything went down. And it read, quote, "Events over the past several months have been extremely challenging for me, my family, my friends, and most importantly, my students. Because of this, I made the very difficult decision to close the door on this chapter of my life by accepting responsibility for mistakes I have made along the way."
Okay. Got it. Got it. Thank you for going to jail.
Her lawyers were asking for a maximum of only 6 months in prison, but she could have gotten up to 30 months. So like I said, like originally it was 5 years, so 30 months, and they're asking for
they
6?
just kept going down, yeah.
They really tried it. She also received a 45-day extension on her sentencing date. It was some deal that her lawyers struck with the judge. So her new sentencing date was now, it was supposed to be in October, and it was extended to December 2016. And again, I think it was largely because of her schedule, but also just the amount of information that needed to be processed. I also do wonder, I don't really know if this is just me speculating, if because this was like a financial crime and she's gonna have to pay the money back, if they were like, well, we might as well let her work so that like we get our money, you know, so that she can make money to pay it back.
I just don't understand. Like, she's just crazy. Like, why do all of this just to go to jail in the end?
I know, and have to pay the money. Crazy. It's so stupid. I mean, that's just, I feel like that's,
well, it's the same thing with like Jen Shaw. Like, why do all of that just to plead guilty in the end?
Exactly. And like, I guess it's always because your sentence is going to be worse if you plead not guilty and then you're convicted. But it's just like the audacity is insane to me. I know people do this literally every day. There are people right now that are committing financial crimes.
Yeah.
But it's just wild to me how they have the audacity to not, like, to me it just feels like the consequences are worse than the benefit if you get caught. So like, why do it? I don't know. But I guess you could say that that's the case with any crime.
Any crime, yeah.
Okay, so then her sentence got delayed a second time through to like January 2017. She still hadn't gotten sentenced and actually asked the court to remove any jail time from her sentencing at this point. Her lawyers said about this, quote, "Ms. Miller respectfully requests that the court impose a non-custodial sentence after considering her acceptance of responsibility and the nature and characteristics of her conduct and her life. She presently finds herself standing before this court having admitted to crimes that served almost no purpose, but fortunately caused no harm."
Okay.
So now she doesn't want any jail time.
Okay.
It also just doesn't work that way. Like,
No.
you admitting to what you did does not mean that you don't now have to go to jail. What if we worked that way with every crime? You admitted to murdering that person? Okay, I guess we don't have to put you in jail now.
Guess we don't have to put you in jail.
At least you realize you're accepting what you did. Like, no, it doesn't work like that, Abby. And also, I mean, I think it's probably similar to the college admissions. Like, they probably want to make a little bit of an example out of her.
Yeah.
They also basically claimed that the reason that she committed the fraud in the first place is because she was overwhelmed by her rise to fame and she didn't have the proper resources
But she
to
wasn't
handle
famous
it.
yet.
Yeah, well, when she
Oh, I
found
guess she had to be famous enough to get the show in the first place, I guess.
yeah, well, and she hid all the money that she gained from the show. So, she was technically famous, but like I don't really like I think kind of what they're trying to claim here is that she not necessarily that she couldn't handle it mentally, but like fiscally she didn't know that she was committing a crime by like hiding that money. I think that's like what they're trying to say. That like she
Okay.
didn't know that she was committing a crime by continuing to be in a bankruptcy case while also making 25K per episode.
Yeah.
But that's void. That's null and void because of the emails that they found.
Absolutely.
If those were real. So that just doesn't make sense. I mean, I get it. They're her lawyers. They're trying to do everything they can to make her not go to jail. Okay, so then her sentencing gets extended again to February of 2017.
Well, dang. Okay.
And then by the end of March 2017, she was still not sentenced. And at this point, she also announced that she would not be returning to Dance Moms.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Did Dance Moms continue without her?
It actually did, I think.
Who was the teacher?
I think they like got a new coach because they ended up moving the show to LA completely from Pittsburgh. And at that point, most of the girls had left, but there were a couple. Like I know Nia was still on the show, which for anyone who doesn't know, Nia wrote a book and it was like scathing, like the tea and her experience with Abby. I listened to it on Spotify after it came out and it was actually so good. So go listen to Nia's book. I know Julia doesn't like a memoir, but
She deserves one. She went through a lot with Abby.
yeah, and just like her talking about like the racism that she experienced at Abby's hands and everything, like I just hope that Nia finds all the success in the world because she deserves it after all that. But
They just did like a 2025 season.
is Abby the
But
coach
it's
again?
like, no, it's like the whole thing is like a reunion.
Well, I remember there was a Dance Moms reunion, but I thought it was like a few years ago.
Yeah, it was 2024 into 2025 is what it looks like.
Okay, that makes sense. And it was like all the original girls.
It looks like it.
Yeah. Except I don't think JoJo Siwa was there, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I do think the show is still running. I just think they have like a new coach and like Chloe Lucasiak ended up coming back once they moved to LA. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that they all just picked up their lives and moved to LA.
Yeah. There's like nowhere to watch this, sad face. It doesn't say that it's on anything.
It's on Lifetime, which is like a weird network. Like I feel like Bravo needs to pick it up. But finally, in May 2017, Abby Lee Miller was sentenced to a year and 1 day in prison for bankruptcy fraud and for the international monetary charge. A year and 1 day.
Okay.
So weird. Prior to her sentence being read, she shared a statement. It was long, so I'm just going to read like a short part. But she dead ass said to the judge, quote, I remember when this happened. It was like a headline. She said, quote, I wish you could take my class or come to one of my events and see how much I love this.
What?
The judge is like, what that got to do with me?
That has nothing to do with anything. You're a criminal.
Hello? Like what? I feel like she's basically trying to like convince him to not send her to prison so that she can keep teaching dance because like her students need her and she just cares about her students so much. I feel like that's what she's trying to say with that. She basically also claimed that she didn't know what she was doing was wrong and she said that she was hiding her money just so she could keep her business running and not to deceive anyone.
Okay.
Okay, but you did. Even if
But
that
you
wasn't your
did.
intention, you did. It's the age old concept of intent versus impact. That may not have been your intention, but you did still commit a crime.
You still did it.
She ended up having to pay a $40,000 fine and would have 2 years of probation upon her release. In her response to her sentence, like her prison sentence, she said in an interview, quote, I'm just going to pretend I'm shooting a movie and we're on set and I'm there for 10 months and that's the way it's going to be.
Oh my god.
Like she's literally a delusional human being. She did do a Lifetime special before she went to prison where she said, quote, I will be somewhere for 10.5 months without any power or control. Will I come out and have nothing? Will I come out and be right back where I started? That's what's scary. That's what's more scary than going in.
Sure.
She's just like only worried about Dance Moms. Like it's just crazy to me. She reported to prison in California and obviously we didn't hear from her while she was there. I remember like when all this happened and she was like sentenced to prison, and then when she got back out, when she got released from prison, it felt like just a blip in time. She was released in March of 2018 after serving only 8 months of her sentence, so I guess that's why it felt so short.
Damn. Yeah.
But I mean, she did go to prison. I feel like when celebrities get brought down for a financial crime like this, I always assume that they're going to end up not going to prison somehow. But she actually did. She was transferred to a halfway house after her release in Long Beach, California, where she had to stay through the end of May, and then that's at that point that's when her probation would start. I also learned, I don't know if you knew this. I did not realize that halfway houses are controlled by the Bureau of Prisons.
Yeah, because they're like low key, like still in jail. Just like it's like a integrating back into society, right?
Yes, exactly. It's like what I found is it's like a supervised way of helping prisoners be reintegrated. But they do pay for like their own housing while they're there. And they have to pass drug tests too.
I didn't realize they had to pay.
Yeah, at least that's what I found. Hopefully that's accurate. She also had an ankle monitor that she had to wear. So
lovely.
No more international travel for Abby Lee. So this is what you were asking about earlier. After she was released, she was diagnosed with a type of cancer called Burkitt lymphoma after having a medical episode while she was in the halfway house, which led her to become paralyzed from the neck down. She said that she thinks that this happened because in prison they made her stop taking some kind of medication, cold turkey.
And that gave her cancer?
Like maybe not the cancer, but the episode which left her paralyzed, which was maybe brought on from the cancer affecting whatever part of her body that it did. She claims that also that there was a guard in her prison who targeted her because she was famous, but she also said that she made like a group of friends and would participate in Bible studies and group activities and things while she was in there.
So like she thinks the guard made her stop taking her medication because he was targeting her?
Yeah, I think that's what she's alluding to. They also thought that when the medical episode that left her paralyzed first happened, they thought it was a spinal infection, but then they realized that it was actually cancer. And she did several rounds of chemo and rehab to regain mobility and obviously treat the cancer. I think she like regained that movement. She also lost 100 pounds while she was in prison after having gastric bypass surgery before going in. For anyone who doesn't know who Abby Lee Miller is at all and has never seen a picture of her, she was like the moms would always, on Dance Moms, would always dig at her for being overweight. That was like a whole storyline on the show, I feel like. So yeah, she's lost a lot of weight, and to pictures that I've seen of her today, I think she has kept it off. Speaking of the college admission scandal, in 2019, when that happened, that was all obviously after Abby had gone through her whole thing and was already out of prison. She gave some advice, if you will, to Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman, basically telling them to be open about being a celebrity in prison because other inmates and guards will be interested. Specifically, she said, quote, people will be interested in their stories and it'll be important for them to share, but also listen to the other women's stories as well. I don't know if she's just like running her mouth. She probably is.
Probably.
But I thought that was like kind of strange. She also said about, do you know who Todd Chrisley is?
No.
He is a reality star. Him and his family have a reality show on E! I think it's called Chrisley Knows Best. They actually live in Charleston. He and his wife also got themselves mixed up in some financial crimes, which we'll do an episode on eventually. But when he was in hot water with all his stuff, she told him, be careful. If they want you, they're going to get you.
Why did you say it like that?
Yeah. A huge part of him and his wife's case has been the two of them speaking out about how they were made an example of and how they didn't actually commit the crimes that they were accused of, and that there was a lot of like corruptness happening in the court system. But she also called him bougie and said that he will struggle with not having all of like the little luxuries that you don't get in prison. She's just taking shots at anyone because now she likes that she's not in this alone.
Yeah.
In 2020, she finally received her tax lien for the money that she had hidden, which I think is like what she has to then pay back. Okay. And it was $182,000.
Damn.
Because, like, all that money she obviously didn't report to the federal government, so now she has to pay taxes on it. Yep. Hopefully that's right. Sorry. If it's not, I'm not a financial expert, so forgive me. She has continued to yap and yap and yap since she got out of prison, which is so unsurprising for anyone who's ever watched her on the show. Because in 2022, she talked about how her dance moms families did not come and visit her in prison.
Why would they?
Why would they? Like, that's so crazy. But specifically, she said, quote, "Shame on you. Shame on you after what I did for you and for your children. I helped you make a lot of money. You couldn't come to visit me for 8.5 months. You couldn't send a card, a letter."
They don't owe you anything. Like, what?
Anything. Something that she's always done is taken credit for any sort of fame that the girls on that show have gotten. But I just feel like, in my opinion, like, this was an ensemble cast. Nobody was the main character of this show.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why she thinks that, like, she was the only one who, like, if you didn't have this team, you wouldn't have a show. So, and also, not for nothing, I'm sure that most of them didn't even live in, like, at this point, these girls would have been, like, in college if that's the route that they chose to go. So, which I know that some of them did. So, I don't really feel like, I mean, they're literally like
sorry,
they're 18-year-old girls.
They're busy. Like, I don't think a lot of people keep up with their high school dance teacher after they leave high school.
Right. And they're also 18-year-old girls. They don't want to go to a prison. Also,
no.
I've never been to a prison, but, like, typically aren't they kind of far out? Like, they're not always easy to get to.
Yeah, and they probably don't have cars.
Right. So I just don't feel like this is even a valid thing to say. And also really unfair. You're the one that got sent to prison. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
It's like freaking Cody Brown from Sister Wives saying that his kids need to reach out to him too. No, they don't. You're the dad.
No, they don't.
You're the dad.
No, they don't.
Anyway, as of mid-2025, she is cancer-free. She is still in a wheelchair, but she's, like I said, definitely regained some mobility, and apparently her goal is to one day walk again. She does still host dance workshops, and I think she does, like, virtual classes. She also has a podcast called Leave It on the Dance Floor, and I think she also produces a show called Madhouse, which I remember vaguely seeing an ad for this a couple of years ago. I think it's like a reality show for dancers that, like, are competing for professional dance opportunities. So she's definitely still in the TV game, but I do not think that she's involved with Dance Moms any longer.
Well, I hope she's reporting all her money.
I hope I mean, at this point, they definitely have an eye on her. But yeah, that is the story of Abby Lee's bankruptcy fraud. Also, sorry, I just have to give a quick shout out to Broadway Baby, her dog. Never forget Broadway Baby, rest in peace.
What? They died?
Broadway Baby died, yeah.
Oh, sad. I just looked at Abby's Instagram and she has, like, a full podcast.
I feel like I need to listen to it.
And she's also, like, going on tour. Like, she works for the ALDC/LA studio.
Okay, so maybe she does still do some Dance Mom stuff.
I just don't think she's affiliated with Dance Moms. I think she's just a teacher.
It's just ALDC anymore, yeah. She's just, like, you know what's so funny is that I remember my mom used to, like, not let me watch this show. Like, one time I was watching TV in our basement, or no, I was watching it in the living room. She, like, came downstairs once and she was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "Dance Moms." She, like, yelled at me to turn it off. She was like, "That woman is so tacky and awful. You are not allowed to watch this show." So then I would just go downstairs and watch it in the basement.
Oh.
And I just didn't tell her.
Oh my god. What did she think you were watching down there?
Probably, like, Hannah Montana. I don't know. It's just funny because, like, of all the reality shows, I don't really feel like it's not like Dance Moms is, like, inappropriate. It's just, like, trashy. It's just trash TV.
It is, for sure.
But, Mom, if you're listening to this, I was watching it anyways.
Yeah. Oopsies.
Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope everyone enjoyed that episode. How crazy is it, though, that she got arrested for this in 2015 and she didn't even go to prison until mid-2017?
That is a little cray-cray.
It's giving celebrity privilege. We are going to be doing our part 2 of the YouTube beauty scandals. We did part 1 back in February, and it was a long episode, and there's just so much that happened. We're going to be talking about part 2 of that. There's going to be a few different stories in that one episode. And then, because I'm sure that we'll all need some reprieve from Taylor Frankie Paul's season of The Bachelorette, we're going to be doing a Where Are They Now on The Bachelor in Paradise couples that made it. So that's going to be a fun episode. And of course, listen to us on Tuesdays for Reality Digest.
Have a good day. Bye. Go gossip about something.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week for more pop culture chaos. The stories we cover are based on research and publicly available sources. While we strive for accuracy, some details may be disputed or unverified, and this episode is for entertainment and informational purposes only.